ever wanted to make tallow soap, but you're worried about making a huge brick of soap, this is the recipe for you. This recipe will make 3 4-ounce soap bars, so you can have a very small batch of soap. Some of you asked in my last tallow soap recipe what the super fat is. This is a 5% super fat recipe. Let's get into how to make it. The base of this recipe is tallow, coconut oil, olive oil, and castor oil, much like my other tallow recipe. But this one we're going to be adding some bentonite clay for some detoxification. The bentonite clay is completely optional. If you don't want to add it, no problem at all. So let's get started with measuring out our oils. You're going to need a heat-safe bowl. Put it on your scale. You do need a kitchen scale when you're soap making. Soap making is very precise, much like baking. I'll link in the description box below this scale. It has served me very well. It's very basic, but yes, you do need one. So your heat-safe bowl goes onto your scale and you are going to zero it out. We're gonna start with 50 grams of tallow. If you don't know how to render your own tallow, definitely check out my other video. I'll link it here, where I show you start to finish how I render my own. Next, we'll do 21 grams of coconut oil, so zero out your scale again. Somebody asked me in my last soap video where I get all my oils. I will link all of them in the description box below, but typically I get my coconut oil from Costco, I render my own tallow, and the bentonite clay I got from Amazon. Now we're gonna take this over to our double boiler and melt it down. I don't have a double boiler, but a small pan like this is perfect. Just make sure that your bowl fits nicely. And you can see here, I filled up a little bit too much water. If you do this, by the time it starts bubbling over, you might get some water in your soap, which you definitely do not want. So I'm gonna empty a little bit of this. We wanna gently melt these oils. We don't wanna go too wild with it. If you've never worked with lye before, I totally understand. It can be very scary. When I first started, I was a little bit concerned about it too. There are a couple safety principles that if you follow, everything will go perfectly smooth. So number one, just make sure that there are no pets or kids around. You don't want them to accidentally touch this, it will burn. According to the MSDS on sodium hydroxide, which is what lye is, if you get it on your skin, flush it with water. You never want to use any vinegar or acid. That will burn you even further. Make sure that you're always using gloves, covering your arms as best as you can, covering your legs. You don't want any skin exposed, especially when you're mixing the lye and the water together. It can sometimes splash if you're not careful. Next, you want to wear eye protection as well. So glasses, sunglasses, safety glasses, whatever you've got, just to protect your eyes. Now, I always pour my lye into a container that has a lid that locks into place. That way, when I take it outside to mix it around, I'm very sure that nothing is going to spill. I have these little lye crystals that are very tiny. They're kind of like beads. So definitely do not want that spilling around. This recipe is going to use 14 grams of lye. So again, zero out your scale. And you're gonna pour very, very slowly as not to overshoot it. The lid goes right back on. And then immediately putting the lid on your container. And that will come with us outside. Now you need a heat-proof container because lye and water gets extremely hot when they're combined. Place it on your scale and you need 30 grams. You cannot use tap water for this recipe. It has to be filtered or distilled. So again, pouring very slowly, 30 grams. And it's gonna be very small amounts. Now your lye and your water are going to go outside and I'll show you the next steps. Before we head outside, I realized this is completely melted down, so we're gonna turn off the heat and let it sit until this bowl is handleable. We are outside now and we've got our gloves on, long sleeves, our glasses on. When you're working with lye, it is very important that you pour the lye into your water, never the other way around. This creates an exothermic reaction, which means it gets very hot. So you want to make sure that you are not touching it. We're going to pour a little bit in to our water at a time. So carefully open up your lye. We're going to pour a little bit in and make sure you're not breathing in the fumes. It makes quite a bit of fumes that will hurt your lungs if you're breathing it in, which is why we're doing this outside. So your lye mixture is going to get a little bit cloudy. Apologies for all the noises in the background. It's a very busy day apparently. Mix it until all of the lye is gone. Again, being very careful when you're mixing that you're not splashing everywhere. This is such a small amount of water, it's a little bit less of a concern. Once that's dissolved, you're going to do your next little bit and our last little bit. Try and get all those little crystals out. Once you're finished emptying it out completely, we throw the lid right back on. And lye is a natural cleaner, so you can actually put this right into your dishwasher, but make sure that you're about to run your dishwasher when you put this in, just so nobody accidentally takes it out and gets a burn. So we're gonna keep mixing this all together, and then we are gonna take this inside to finish off our soap. Remember, it's going to be hot, so either use oven mitts or leave it outside until it cools down a bit. This is cool enough for me to handle, so I'm going to take it off the heat and place it on my kitchen scale. We're going to zero out the scale and do 14 grams of olive oil. If you're worried you're going to over pour, you can do this into a separate container, and it's 7 grams of castor oil. Now this is going to come over to where our lye mixture is, and we will get this saponified. Whenever you are soap making, you want the oils and the lye to be within about 10 degrees of each other. So I took the temperature of both my lye mixture and my oils were still way too hot. So I put those into the fridge for a couple of minutes to try and cool them down. Typically when you're soaping, you want to keep it between 100 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you don't technically need a thermometer. You can just go by the feel. Once it feels similar to body temperature, maybe a little bit warmer, then they should be ready to go. Obviously, we're not feeling the lye, but we're feeling the bowls. In the meantime, we're gonna get our bentonite clay ready. I have used this bentonite clay for so many different things, and it is actually in a few of the recipes that are in my Tallow ebook. My Tallow ebook is officially coming out September 8th, so definitely mark your calendars for it. If you buy the ebook within the first week or you're on my wait list, you'll get access to a discount, and you will also get 2 bonuses. So definitely get on the wait list down below and keep an eye out for it. The ebook contains over 28 different recipes, basically skincare from your head to your toe. I've got lots of stuff for your hair, for your nails, so you can feel very confident using tallow in all of your body care. We're gonna get started with the bentonite clay while we wait for our oils to cool down. It's 1.5 teaspoons of clay. If you just put clay into your soap, it's not actually going to mix in. It's going to be quite clumpy. So we're going to add a little bit of water. You can also use some oils, just a small amount, enough to make it a paste, giving it a good mix. You can see here it's still quite clumpy, so we're going to add a little bit more water. A little bit more. This clay is a little bit hard to mix up, but just keep at it. Pick a better container than I used for this. Okay, this is great because it is going to go into our soap. So we're gonna set this aside and check on our oils now. So we're going to be adding the clay mixture straight into our oils here. When you're soap making, you do need an immersion blender as well. So we're gonna do that and see if it'll blend the clay a little bit better. Now, clay will help your batter come to trace, which is a pudding-like consistency, quite a bit faster. So again, gloves, safety glasses, long sleeve shirt, and we're going to carefully pour the lye mixture in. Carefully with your immersion blender. So this is a pudding-like consistency. You can see it's holding its shape. I'm gonna remove the immersion blender. tuck this off to the side. And before we get it into our mold, we're going to add some peppermint essential oils. So onto the scale, zero it out. Whenever you're working with essential oils, keep in mind that the final fragrance is not going to be super strong, and you never want more than 2% of the total weight. I've calculated that out, and it is 2 grams. And gently stirring that through your batter. Grab your soap mold. I'll put a link in the description box to these. And divide it equally, adding as much as you'd like to each bar of soap. And then you can finish with the design of your choice. These ones are a little trickier to design. I like the look of this one with the swoopies. I'm going to add just a hint of clay on the top. And these are now going to sit and cure overnight for 24 hours in the mold exactly like this. It has not been 24 hours yet, but I'm going to close out the video because all you need to do is let this sit for 24 hours, pop it out of the mold, and then you can store it in a cool, dark place for 4 to 6 weeks. It needs to have that time to cure, otherwise it will not be safe for your skin. So definitely let it sit for that amount of time, and then it will be ready for use. It smells amazing, it looks so cool, and I cannot wait to use it. Once again, if this is your thing, definitely check out my Tallow ebook. I think you'll love it. I put my heart and soul into it. If you're not quite ready to commit and you just want to see what the vibe is, you can download my free guide on the top 5 mistakes that people make when they are first rendering their tallow. I'll also put that down in the description box below. Thanks again for being here. I appreciate you so much more than you know. Take care.